Expression sessions are one of my favorite things to do and to share because you can do it by yourself. You don't need a practitioner, you don't need anything. And you can literally release hundreds and sometimes even thousands of trapped emotions and other kinds of imbalances. It's really powerful. So I will share that with you. I'll describe how to do that. First, you're going to want to grab a piece of paper and a pen. You can pause the video until you have that. All right, now with your piece of paper, I want you to write down the first 10 names that come to mind of people that you are not at peace with, that you have some beef with. And go ahead and write those down. And in the order that they come to you, in the order they come to your mind. Okay, and you can finish that and even write beyond 10 people. If you don't have 10 people, that's fine, but write at least the first 10 if you do, and you can keep writing after that. Now, okay, so to do an expression session, you're going to pick the first person. You want to start usually with the first person on your list, and you're going to release, I'm so excited for you, you're going to release blocks and imbalances in your own system caused by your experience with that person, and you can do it on your own. Before we go into the instructions, I want to explain a few things. So when our experiences with other people, if they do things that dishonor us or that we don't like, or that are outright violent, it causes harm or hurt to us, and that's totally understandable. We might feel hurt, sad, hate, resentment, confusion, any number of things, and that's very normal, and we learn from that. One thing that can happen when we get wounded is to say like, well, I want to get over this, I don't want to carry this around anymore, so I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to not feel any hatred anymore. I'm just going to not feel sad anymore. And there are ways, sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes, even if we try to just say, I'm going to be over it now, it's still there and you can still feel it. So I like to describe this as a wound that needs to be honored and respected and appreciated first. If you imagine having a 4-year-old child, and they're outside playing, and they come running inside, say your little 4-year-old son, other kids are being mean to him, they pushed him down, and he scratched his knee, and he comes running inside. You wouldn't, if you did, just assess him physically and be like, okay, at a glance I can tell you're not bleeding. You know what, you're fine. You're fine. You can stop crying, stop being upset. You're not too injured. You're fine. Just go back out there and get over it. You might be able to picture that in your head. You might say no, be thinking like, no, I'm really upset and really sad and really scared and feeling really lonely and in pain, and I want you to hear it first. He might keep crying until he has a chance to tell you like, it was so scary, it was not right, that was so mean of them to push me down, my knee really hurt, I felt really alone and afraid. And after he gets a chance to express it, then he might feel better and want a hug from you, and then be ready to go back out and play again. So similarly with ourselves and like our inner child and our wounds, if they've been carrying, if you had a little 4-year-old inside of you that's been like carrying the pain of rejection for you for years and years and years and years, and you just say like, you know what, okay, you should leave. Like, you should just stop feeling rejected. Just stop. I'm just going to swallow that and hope that it goes away. You can imagine the same 4-year-old inside saying, wait a minute, this is a hard job I've been doing. It hurt really bad. I want to at least be appreciated for my job. I want a chance to express, that it hurt. I want a chance to voice and be heard and acknowledged. And then after I've been acknowledged, then I'll be ready to let it go and ready to release the wound and the pain. So I see this a lot, that a lot of our wounds want to speak, want to be acknowledged before they're ready to heal. And so if we're in a habit of swallowing or ignoring, we're kind of just telling that, we're just kind of shutting up or quieting that 4-year-old who just needs to be heard. So expressing vocally is a really great way to honor, because our emotions are important. They are valid. It's a very natural response, and we learn from that. And so I desire for our wounds to be honored and appreciated and have a chance to process. And so that's what an expression session does. You're going to be vocally expressing, and that is really powerful. It's a great way for your wounds to be acknowledged, appreciated, and then facilitate their readiness to heal and to release the burden. Okay, and you're going to be doing it by yourself, which is great, because then no one else is going to be injured. Sometimes if I have a lot of rejection that my inner child is carrying from past traumatic experiences, I might be like, oh, ignore it, go away, and then lash out, in moments when I feel like someone might be leaving me, like lash out in angry ways or dramatic ways or clingy ways. So if we don't have a chance to process the wound, it's going to come out in other ways and usually cause more trauma to us and to other people. So this is a great way that you can get it out without anyone else being traumatized. Okay, so here are your instructions. You're going to want to start with, or I like to start with, a prayer to my higher power, to God, to ask for assistance and protection and guidance during the session, to help facilitate and receive any assistance I need. After that, I'm going to pick the person that I want to do the session with. So you'll likely start at the top of your list, and write a letter to them, handwritten or typed, and just get everything out. Say everything that is inside of you. Get all of it out. So you might say, like, when you did this behavior or you made this choice, it caused this much pain for me. It caused this kind of effect in my life and in other people's lives, and I don't think you realize that. And I feel so angry and I feel so mad. And just say everything and keep going, keep writing until nothing else is there, because you got it all out on your paper. All right, and sometimes you might have positive things too. Maybe not for the first few people on your list, but if that comes up too, like, oh, you know what, I never expressed gratitude for this to you and I wanted to, or I admire this about you. If positive things come up that you haven't voiced yet, then write those down too. All right, so after you've finished writing and you've gotten everything out, then you're going to picture, you'll want to be in a place that is private for all of this before you start writing, somewhere where you won't be interrupted and won't have distractions. Forgot to mention that. Okay, so then after you've written your letter, you're going to close your eyes and picture the person in front of you and ask them if you have their permission to express these things to them. Ask them if you can, express what you have on your paper to them. And usually they'll either nod or say yes, and they'll agree. If they don't, you can just dismiss them in your head and then read your letter to an empty chair. But usually you can see them say yes, that's fine with them. And then you're going to read out loud your letter to them and say all of it out loud to them as you're imagining them in your head. And if more things come to mind, then say that as well. Just voice everything. And then after you've gotten that all out, with the intention to not have to carry it around anymore, not be bogged down by it, so you're vocally saying it, and also with the intention that you're getting it out of your body, getting it out because you don't want to have it anymore. So after you've gotten it all out, you're going to say, I forgive you for the hurt, heartache, and sorrow you've caused me. So you're going to forgive them. And then after that, you want to ask your higher power, if your higher power, oh wait, I've skipped a step, sorry. So after you forgive them out loud, then ask them if they will forgive you for having pointed negative energy at them. And then after that, you're going to ask your higher power if your higher power will forgive you for having been pointing negative energy at them all this time. And then you'll want to picture yourself and ask yourself if they will forgive you for having pointed negative energy at this other person. And after all of that, you can just enjoy anything else that comes to mind, anything else that happens. And then you're going to want to destroy, so burn or delete your letter, to just let that, all of that energy, let all of it be under the bridge, let it all be released off of your body, out of your life, out of your space, and let it be in the past. So there you go. That is an expression session. Now, most people after an expression session will say they feel 5 pounds lighter. They feel a lot of release. They feel different. And they'll also notice that the person, so you never tell the person, whoever it is, that you did this, that would only probably cause harm or trauma. Like, yesterday I was so mad at you, I had to write a letter to you about how mad you make me or something like that. So you're not going to mention it to them, but you will notice every person in my life who I've done an expression session with, they change towards me. Our relationship changes. It's very, very powerful. Also, as you're speaking basically with their higher self that you're picturing in your mind, you might be surprised at how they respond to you. You might be surprised what they say or how they react to you expressing yourself to them. I have been surprised a lot, and it's been very, very healing, and it's nothing I would have imagined or anticipated or pretended. And also I find that after I express and I get all the negative out, things shift a lot for me, and I'm able to see a lot of new things. I'm able to see them very differently. I'm able to feel genuine love and care and concern for them, whereas before that wasn't there. So really have fun with that, and don't be surprised if they respond to you in your mind, if they say something back. I've even had people, or as I'm picturing them, give me a hug. People who are not very touchy at all, or I wouldn't expect to ever receive a hug from them in real life, with their conscious self. So, yeah, so it's very powerful. All right, so there you go. You've got the instructions. I like to give myself an hour where I won't be interrupted, just in case, because sometimes, especially if it's a big one, it can take that long. Sometimes it takes not just 30, 20 minutes. And so you're going to want to get through your list of the top 10, as I recommend, as quickly as possible. And you're going to enjoy just how that feels to empty out gumballs just like crazy left and right, and how it's going to shift things in your life and your perspective. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear it. You can post it. You can either email me, reach out to me, in any form, and enjoy.